I'll give you 3 principles
Yeah.
for greater discipline. And then I'll tell you the actual 3 things to do to generate more discipline in such a way that your personal growth grows, that you feel like alive and connected and meaningful and joyous on this journey, because that's what really matters. I mean, discipline sucks unless in some ways the outcome is progress, greater engagement and aliveness of life, and greater success in whatever way you measure that. So the 3 principles of all of like discipline comes down to, number 1, mastering your schedule. I know that sounds so boring, but it is so absolutely fundamental to your focus, to your progress, to your health, to everything. It doesn't matter if you say, okay, I only want to schedule one thing today. That's fine with me. I'm not trying to own every hour of your life, but that one thing better be awesome and it better be a needle mover. So scheduling, show up when it's scheduled. And then the third thing, which is most important, is a principle for all of discipline. No discipline happens unless on a real consistent basis, unless you have social connection. All of the research shows the most productive people, the most focused people, the people who are most fulfilled in doing meaningful work have attached a meaning that their focus, intention, their hard work is attached to social connection, meaning I'm going to show up for this because it's going to make me a better mom or parent. I'm going to get healthy so I have more energy for the kids. I am going to do this project so my team and company grows, so we serve more people and we make an impact. It's like the hard work must be attached to impact, but the impact isn't just self, like, oh, I'll get this. It has to have a social connection. Like you have to have a reason to show up over and over and over for others. It's why we always teach in high performance, you have to have a little card that says, who needs me on my A game today?
Yeah.
Like, I am disciplined because I wouldn't be less disciplined doing a morning show. I'm more disciplined doing a morning show because Jamie's there. She's waiting on the other end. If I don't get there, I feel like a chump. So that's important, you know. There's 3 principles, right? Schedule it, show up, attach social connection. But now here's the things I would do. If you said, Brendan, if you could only be disciplined about 3 things, what would you do? And it's not what you all think. It's totally not what you all think. And this is very much that makes me happy and progress in life. So they're not sexy. The number 1 thing, if I could give anyone a discipline to always do, on the first of every single month, you do a whole life review. When that calendar hits 1, as in the first of the month, you look at every major area of your life, you score yourself, you ask how you'd like to improve that. And what could you do this month? Because most people never improve their life because they never face their life.
Yeah.
You have to look at it. So every first of the month, that's for those who are new to us, Growth Day began with, Growth Day actually began because I said, let's do our personal development on the first of the month. So I go live for 2 hours in Growth Day. So if you're not a member, go to growthday.com because I do a full personal development seminar on the first of every single month. Because I feel like if we start the month off, we nail that, we start it with good attitude, energy, but also you're looking into the month and asking, is the way I've scheduled this month going to help me move towards the lifestyle I want or the accomplishment of the major 3 projects I'm working on in my life?
And also, if we don't do this, I feel like it is so easy. And how many people can relate to this, where if you don't do this, all of a sudden you blink and you're like, oh, it's halfway through the month, or, oh, 3 months have gone by. I don't even know how did this even happen, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we done that? We're like, wait a minute, it's Thanksgiving. Like, wait a minute, it's spring break. And it's like your life flies by in a blur.
This is for those who have the High Performance Planner, you know this page super well. This is your monthly review section in the High Performance Planner. And what it does is it makes you look at the 10 major areas of your life, from health to mental, emotional, partner or love, family, friends, mission, experiences, spirit, finances, learning, growth. It helps you reflect on the things you learned in the last month, learn about others, learn about yourself, what you're grateful for, the main priorities coming up, the decisions you needed to make or could make, your monthly review and orienting yourself to your year goals and 3-year goals. Like, if I don't do that on the first of the month, what happens is the middle of the month, what am I doing? I might be showing up, but I'm showing up in a hot mess all the time because I don't have direction.
Yeah.
So if I could give you anything, start the first of the month, super clear about that month. If that's all you did, I promise you'd be more engaged with your life. Second thing I do, I believe another review is needed every Sunday. So Sunday, do your weekly review and your weekly planning. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes, an hour. I think it's important to go, okay, on Sunday, is this upcoming week? Am I clear about what I want of that? Am I clear about how I can serve? Am I clear about these little slots of time? Do they make sense to me? I mean, just that, it can take so fast. So third thing.
Yeah.
All right, listen, if I could give you 3 things to move the needle in your life. Number 1 is a monthly review. On the first of the month, look out for and notice, please don't think that this or the Sunday review, which is the second point, is just about your schedule. You are reviewing the major parts of your life. You're connecting with them. You're scoring them. You're asking what more you desire there. And what's something simple you can do to improve that area of your life each month. It doesn't have to be huge life transformation, because look, transformation takes time. You might just like this little thing, this thing, but being aware of it, that's important. So the monthly, then the Sunday, and then you have, I know everyone already wrote this in their things and they just know it to be true. You've got to win your mornings again and bring intention for, I think, 2 things every day. If we can bring intention for 2 things every day, we win that day. To me, the first one is I'm going to bring the joy to this day. Mm-hmm. I'm going to choose my attitude. I'm going to develop a mindset that is unshakable, that is joyful, that is, I'm going to be in every room. It doesn't matter if I'm the loudest. I'm going to try to be the most generous and grateful person in that room. I'm just going to bring good energy. Be responsible for the energy you are projecting onto others and into this world. So I think for me, that intention of, I have an intention to have joy each day. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to make that happen, because sometimes life doesn't do it for you. Yeah. It just doesn't. So I'm going to bring the joy. So that's that's an intention. So what I'm saying is the third discipline is every day you have intentions for feeling life.
Yeah.
For me, feeling life means bring the joy. That's number 1. I'm going to bring the joy. And number 2, I'm going to make a moment with somebody today. Maybe I send them an audio. Maybe it's the way I look at my wife. Maybe it's the thing I call up my mom, and or I send a beautiful appreciation email or text to somebody. But every day, I'm going to bring the joy into the day, and I'm going to make a moment. Because at the end of your life, I learned this, I faced my death twice in my life. You remember these moments and scenes with other people. Mm. It's so important to realize that. And so you have to ask, are you going to have enough of those moments and scenes? Are they going to be, at the end of your life, you kind of, if it's true, you see a movie. What are the scenes of that movie going to be? You get to direct that. And I promise the scenes in the movie almost always have these beautiful connections with others. It's like most people don't realize the ending movie of their life is love scenes and connection scenes with other people, where like these like meaningful moments, if you will. Let's just call them meaningful moments. That's what you see at the end, meaningful moments. So if that is true, if it's true, then you have to purposely structure and build in meaningful moments so you love the movie at the end. You know? That you love the movie, that you want to watch the movie again, that you appreciate, that you're going to bust out the good wine and have that good popcorn with that meaningful movie. And so every day, that's mine. I'm going to bring joy to this day, and I'm going to make moments.
Yeah, that's now, so good.
You might have different intentions. Maybe your intention is like, I'm going to do this thing as a mom or as a leader or as a whatever. Doesn't matter to me. But if you don't have the intention, the days just blaze by, nothing. You can be working hard. You can get your schedule down. You can have your calendar prioritized with all the tabs and all the different marker colors and everything else. But if there's no intention for feeling today, you were a good robot today.
Yep.
But you didn't.
And we've all had days like that where we feel like a human doing, right? Not a human being. That's so good, Brendan. That's so good. And a meaningful moment can be different for every single person, but how many days do we go through and we forget? And a meaningful moment's free. You know what I mean? It's like, how many days do we forget to do that? It's so powerful. I love that. So important. I love that.
You have, so to me, that's funny that the discipline is to have the intention, right?
Yeah.
Every day when you have the intention, or every moment or every experience, when you have the intention, it turns out better.
I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look at what top financial advisors do for their clients. Now, if you're watching this and you don't have a financial advisor, that's okay, because if you don't have a financial advisor, these will be the 18 things that you should be doing for yourself. If you do have a financial advisor, by me going through these 18 things, you may go, my advisor is not currently doing that. And that's okay, because you could coach them on, these are the things I want to review with you before the end of the year. Or it may be one of those things where you start to go, maybe it's time for me to hire a new financial advisor, which, by the way, the end of the year is a perfect time to be making that decision. Let's go. Are you ready? Take out the pen and pad of paper and let's start writing these things down, or in your app, put the notes down. So the number one thing that a top advisor is going to do for you, and remember, if you don't have a financial advisor, then this is what you should be doing for yourself. Number one thing is they're going to check in with you and schedule a year-end review meeting. This is so obvious. And again, I train financial advisors all year long, but there are so many advisors who don't consistently meet with their clients at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. The end of the year, I personally believe, like if I were in front of hundreds of my advisors right now, I'd be saying the end of the year is the time you meet with your clients. The reason is there's a lot of tax planning that goes into the end of the year. Like one of the most important things at the end of the year is, have you fully maximized your retirement accounts? Which I'll talk about here in a second. It's important to meet at the end of the year to review these things so you know if you have. So the number one thing is, have you got a year-end review meeting scheduled with your financial advisor? If you don't, you should get one set up. I would be calling your financial advisor and setting one up right now. I would get into their office before December 15th. By the way, I told you there's 64 days left in the year. Just for fun and giggles, guess how many days there's left between now and Thanksgiving? Wait, I wrote this down somewhere. Where is it? There's 20 work days between now and Thanksgiving. It's a very important number to know, by the way, because many people really stop working after Thanksgiving. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, a lot of people don't do work. When you own a company, that doesn't work. You've got to make sure people work all the way through the end of the year. Another topic. But back to number 2 of the 18 things I wanted to give you. Number 2 is this. The question a top financial advisor is going to ask you is the following. Has anything changed financially in your life of significance this year? Why is that question so important? Because things change all the time. Things can change on the expense side. Like, oh yeah, things change. You know what? The refrigerator broke. Then the dishwasher broke. Now the car's got 100,000 miles on it and I need a new car. Or my kid went to college, but then came home and is now living with us. The roof needs to be fixed. I happen to be staying in a place right here on the beach, and there's 2 properties right next to me where the roofs are being redone, right? All kinds of things happen that change your life financially. You might have lost your job. Business could be down. The opposite could be true too. You may have sold an investment where you made a bunch of money. Business could be up a lot. It is critical to get to the end of the year and ask yourself the question, has anything major changed? It's critical for your financial advisor to ask that question. Which takes me to number 3. A financial advisor, I think if they're smart and good at what they do, they're going to ask you this question. Have you looked at your accounts lately? Do you have any questions? First of all, I asked this question as a financial advisor. I spent 9 years at Morgan Stanley. I learned by asking this question, which of my clients actually look at their statements and which don't. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to be looking at your broker statements or looking at your accounts online every single day, but it's good for an advisor to know if you're paying any attention at all. And it's really important to know if you've got questions about what you currently own. What you find when you ask this question as a financial advisor is that many clients don't look at their statements, and a shockingly large percentage of clients have absolutely no clue how to read their statements. One of the most complicated things that the financial service industry does is create poorly done statements that are confusing to the average client. So if you print those statements, what you should do with your financial advisor is be sitting down with them and making sure you understand what you're seeing on paper or what you see on your screen. And if you don't have a financial advisor, it's still really important. Which takes me to, in the same category, let's review your plan. So I'm hoping at this point, if you have a financial advisor, you actually have a real financial plan, at which point they're going to pull out the financial plan and review it with you. Because at the end, I'm going to talk about discussing with your advisor whether or not you're on track with your plan, ahead of plan, or behind plan. And that takes me to question number 4. Let's review the performance of the accounts. Now, a lot of advisors will just want to wait till the end of the year to review the performance because it's easier to do year-to-date, year-over-year performance. However, it's also fine to do year-to-date performance. It's YTD, year-to-date performance. It's really helpful to look at your accounts right now. We're at the end of October and do year-to-date performance. You can also go back very easily with all the computer systems and look at the previous 12 months, previous 3 years, previous 5 years. That is something that you should be doing. And the reason is, and this was number 4, is that once you review the performance, you want to review the performance against your goals, your financial goals, and you want to review the performance against the indexes that the portfolio was created to go against. It's called a benchmark. So traditionally, when a financial advisor meets with you and puts together a portfolio, they're going to put together a portfolio that's hopefully it's diversified of stocks and bonds and cash and global investments. And they're going to tell you the benchmark that they are putting this portfolio together to measure it against. And then what they should be doing is showing you, hey, we chose this benchmark to measure against. Here's how we're doing compared to the benchmarks. Because that's what's going to help them also when it comes time to do tax loss harvesting, help you do that. Which takes me to number 5. A top financial advisor is going to review with you your risk tolerance. So in most cases, if you have a top financial advisor, how the portfolio got built was not just based off your financial goals, it was also based off your risk tolerance. How much comfort do you have taking risk? And they probably walked you through a risk profile questionnaire. And that questionnaire then helped create the degree of how much money went in stocks versus how much money went in bonds or whatever the money was invested in. It was based off your risk tolerance. Why is it critical to review your risk tolerance at the end of the year? Because again, things change in people's lives. And so how you feel right now may be different than how you felt a year ago. Also, as you get older, your risk tolerance typically will change because you'll want to take less risk with your money as you're getting older. So that is important to do. And what happens on a year like this year and last year is that the market's gone up so much. Stock market's having just, again, a phenomenal year. Like the market itself, depending on which benchmark you're looking at, it's like up 17% for the year. Some benchmarks are up 20% for the year. So, if you've had a boring diversified portfolio, you should be up, again, 10% at this point. If you've been in, more aggressive investments like Bitcoin, you're up over 100% for the year. So it all depends on what you're invested in. But what happens when you're invested, and I'm getting super detailed here with you because that's what I wanted to do. When you're invested and your assets start to go up, the risk of your portfolio goes up because you end up having more and more of these riskier assets as they grow. And so part of a financial advisor's job is to point out, hey, we started as an example with a portfolio that was, let's say 60% stock and 40% fixed income bonds. But now because the market's gone up so much, you're actually at 68% stock and you're at 32% bonds. So part of their job at the end of the year is to discuss with you the need to rebalance the portfolio to reduce the risk, unless you as the client say, no, you know what? I want to keep my gas on the pedal because it's going so well. I don't want to reduce my risk. The problem with that approach, my friends, is you don't want to keep your foot on the gas forever. We have just had, the last 10 years of the stock market, people are, you can't make 10% of the stock market. If you've been now in an index fund for the last 10 years, you've had an annualized return over 15%. So people's portfolios are way riskier than they should be if they haven't rebalanced. which again, if you have an advisor, they should be doing this for you. If you're your advisor, you need to be doing this for you.
I'm so excited to be here, and especially with this topic this month, advanced mindset and resilience. When I think about, my days of going from working as a waitress at Denny's and my whole journey of having ideas or hopes or dreams to launching one of those dreams in my living room, to getting tons of no's and going through so much setback. When I think about what are those defining things that help me level up in mindset and also stay resilient and keep going after what I knew was part of my calling. And really it comes down to, one of the big things that it comes down to is me being able to change my relationship in my own mindset with rejection. Rejection is victory. I want you to write that down, and I want you to think about this idea. Okay, here we go. How many people, right, stay in their comfort zone because they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of failure, they're afraid of people seeing them start small? How many people stay in their comfort zone forever? How many people talk themselves out of their own truth forever and never actually become the person they're born to be, right? If you are someone, and I'm going to say one of the courageous people, one of the brave people who is stepping into your calling, who is stepping into your purpose or multiple purposes in this life, if you're one of the brave people doing that, you're going to get rejection after rejection after rejection. It just comes, right? Think about every person in history that's done anything great. Think about everyone living right now that's a great example of accomplishment or impact or inspiration, right? And you just look at their lives, even the greatest, constant rejections on their journey. So what I learned to do early on that I really want to challenge you to do today is to literally see rejection as victory. And what I mean by that is, if you are one of the courageous people who is brave enough to literally be on the path to your calling and to be stepping into the person you're born to be in this lifetime, every time you get a rejection, it's a reminder that you're one of those brave people who's literally doing it. You're one of those brave people stepping into your calling. And you guys, I had to flip the switch in my head, because when I started IT Cosmetics, and I can give a million other examples in my personal life, in my years before launching the company, in my journey of launching Believe It, my book, there's so many examples of this. But the big one that stands out to me is when I launched this dream in my living room, and I was not ready for it to get no traction. I didn't realize, I thought if my product's really good and I have a great vision, a great why behind it, I believe in it, I just thought, of course, it's going to sell. It's going to turn into a successful company. I was not ready or prepared in any way for the hundreds and hundreds of no's that I would get the first several years. For experts that I used to put on a pedestal to say they didn't believe in it. And I wasn't ready for that. And when I started getting no after no, obviously we've all had forms of rejection in our life. It hurts. It's painful. It's easy to think, well, maybe my gut is wrong. Maybe I don't have what it takes. All those things, right? And I eventually had this big aha moment where I knew, because even though I was getting hundreds of no's, even though this went on for years, you guys, before we ever had any signs of success for our company, every time I would check in with my gut, it kept saying, you're supposed to be doing this, right? You're supposed to be doing this. I felt it. And so because of that, what I decided to do, and I had this big aha moment around it, was I flipped my mindset around rejection. And I just made the decision that, you know what? Because I know I'm supposed to be putting this idea out into the world, this passion out into the world, this mission out into the world that I believed in so much when I was creating my company. I believed in that. So because of that, I just decided I'm a person who's actually doing that, even when it's hard, even when it's not rewarded, even when no one's buying and we got no orders again today, right? all those times I just flipped the switch. Okay, every time I got another no, every time someone said you're not the right fit, or we don't think you're going to do well in our stores, or every day we got no orders, rejection comes in so many forms, right? I literally just decided, okay, this rejection is a victory, right? It's another victory because I'm one of the brave few who's literally going after my calling, who's putting my ideas out into the world, who's showing up to serve with my whole heart the best way I know how. And when I flipped this idea that rejection is a victory, it literally helped me fear it less, right? And helped me become a little more fearless and really showing up for the reasons why I was there to show up for, which was to serve other people and to put a product out in the world I really believed in. So imagine if you can flip, right? Because I know we're talking advanced mindset and resilience, and this is so simple, yet how many people do this, right? If you can flip in your head every time you get a no, every time you get a setback. Let's say you go post something today and no one likes it. like there's the simplest things that make us feel rejected. And sometimes we let those turn into self-doubt in our own head. I'm challenging you today to flip the switch. Rejection is a victory. Oh, someone just said no to you again. Oh, a client just left. Oh, whatever happened, right? Just literally flip it in your head as a reminder that you are one of the brave few who is courageous enough to be going after your calling in life. So rejection is a victory because all it is a reminder that you're one of those people. It's a victory that you're one of those people, right? That you're going to be on this path to becoming the person you're born to be. And if that's you, rejection is just going to come with the territory. Anybody who puts out ideas or works or their heart, right? Anyone who does that, who's brave enough to do that, it comes with rejection. So rejection is victory.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.